But next one.
Next one. Hold yourself to the highest standard and have no expectations of others. I kind of touched on that on the previous one.
Yeah.
Obviously, even though I took a step back in my business, I still maintain like I'm the service, the expectation that I have that you work with me, you're going to get the best service out there. And you're going to close on time. It's going to be smooth. Same thing, father, be the best father out there. How can I be the best father? Like those are the things. And I'm holding myself to high standards on that. And the expectation of others, can't expect others to want the same things you want or do the same things or have the same drive. And, when it comes to building a team, like that's one of the things that I've learned. Like, I'm like, I want people that are this, this, and this, but I got to remember, like, not everybody's like that.
Right.
So,
yeah, there's definitely one thing that I really want to work on this year is I need to get back to kind of the fundamentals of business, kind of like when I first started, as far as being diligent with my CRMs and being really organized with my systems, because that's something I've certainly fallen off of like the last 2 years. And I'm just like been very reliant on just my phone ringing or people reaching out to me via social media or just getting referrals from past clients and stuff. And I've had, my business has grown exponentially every year, but I'm like, man, I feel like I am lacking here so much. It could be so much more organized than I am. And so that's something this year that I'm really going to dial in, like get back to, just being more diligent with my schedule, being more diligent with just organizing clients and leads and everybody that comes in and get back to prospecting. And so that I can really, kind of grow even more this year and really hit the lofty goals that I've set here. So that's something I definitely need to improve on because I've just been, I haven't been lazy. I just have been I've been a lead receiver and not a lead generator. Like
Gotcha.
I remember when I first got started in this business, like Alex, my mentor, was like, "Hey man, like for phones. I mean, a couple years down the road, phones started ringing my
Right.
way. But when you're a couple years in the business, like most of those calls are outbound. You're calling people,
Right.
and I just need to get back to that because that's like the fundamentals of this whole thing. I think, and I think that's where the reason I've gotten to the point that I have, and I just need to keep doing that if I want to continue to grow this thing. And I just need to be more organized, and that's definitely one area of my life in general that I lack. I just need to be more organized with things. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Number 7, you're here for a purpose. Leave no stone unturned to find out what it is. Yeah, especially when it comes to kids, because obviously they don't know what they want or what they're good at or anything, but encouraging them to just go after and try everything and then do it with their all.
Yeah, figure out what you like, man. Like I hope my kids like, the stuff that I'm into, but if they're not, man, I'll be right there on the sidelines of the baseball team or whatever sport that they get into. Like I want to be their number one fan and I want to support them. And whatever sport that is, I'm going to figure out how to play it too, so that we can practice in the backyard or do whatever. Like if they get really into lacrosse or something, like I don't know how to play lacrosse,
Right.
but like I'm going to buy myself a stick and we're going to throw that ball around in the front yard. Like we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
If they get into wrestling and grappling and stuff, like great, because that's something I'm already pretty good at. But I mean, that's really the only sport I'm good at. Watching me throw a ball is pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, Connor loves baseball. Oliver is coming around to it. I think he thinks it's too boring for him, which is fine.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was for me, man. I liked the culture of baseball. Like I love the hang out in the dugout.
Yeah.
We can spit sunflower seeds. Chew bubble gum,
Mm-hmm.
throw a dip in, do all these. I love the hangout aspect of it.
Oh, for sure.
But the sport itself, I was never that into personally.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my thing.
I'll be honest. It was boring as fuck.
Yeah. Going from hockey to baseball are two completely different,
absolutely.
Fucking mentalities, two different cardio levels needed, two very different skill sets.
Right. Well, and as a pitcher, especially being a starter, like in college, you throw once a week. Obviously you got your stuff, your prep throughout the week to get ready for your start. But ultimately, it's just dude, it was boring watching games. They're just not they're boring to watch. It's but I'll tell you what, being in the game And that's why I liked becoming a reliever, because I was able to pitch more frequently. I wasn't throwing as many innings or as long, but I was able to play in more games. That made it a little bit more exciting, especially being able to like come into a situation like you don't know what kind of situation you're in. But that that made baseball a lot more fun was when I became a reliever, and because I was throwing more frequently, and yeah, it was just more. You're coming into situations where it's like, all right, we need these 3 outs. We need to like shift the momentum, or like, hey, runners are in scoring position, like getting out with those guys scoring, without those guys scoring. So as a starter, though, you can kind of like ease into it, but yeah, I mean, baseball is boring as fuck.
Yeah. All right, number 8. Never let society dictate what it means to be a man. That's between you and God. That's good, man.
Yeah,
I like that.
We've talked about that a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, the term toxic masculinity likes to get thrown around a lot, and it's there's really no definition to it. It's whatever somebody wants. Social media wants to claim it to be, but fuck that. There's things that I do that are deemed toxic, and I'm like, no, that's just being a man, and I'm okay with that. You want to call me toxic, cool, but I don't feel toxic.
Yeah.
So, but making sure that I'm instilling the right morals, ethics, and principles and values into my kids. That's the most important thing, and that they're strong in those aspects and that they follow those things, because ultimately that's what's going to lead to success. That's what's going to lead to being a good person. So
Yeah. And I just feel like everybody's got kind of I feel like we have like a built-in moral compass, man. Like something. If there's something that's wrong that you shouldn't be.
right.
Like you know that. Like if I'm treating someone like shit, or I'm acting like an asshole. Like there's I I'm trying to think of some specific examples, but like you just always have a feeling of like, oh no, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think following that moral compass is usually going to lead you in the right direction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Next, number 9. Know when to cut your losses: financial, relational, and aspirational.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's. I mean, that's a tough one too.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Oh man, I'm trying to think of the I mean, I can think of the biggest one that I ever biggest one I ever did was leaving the barbecue place. That
yeah,
was the hardest decision I ever had to make, man. And I battled with that decision for weeks before I actually finally had the conversation, and then ultimately ended up leaving. But that was the hardest decision I ever had to make, man. Because I had put my heart and soul into that thing for really like 3 years of my life, and I thought that was going to be the end goal, and run this restaurant, and do that, and it just ended up not being what I wanted to do, and it just was a lot of it was a lot of I mean a lot of things went on, but it wasn't. It just ended up not being but I had to cut my losses there. I
yeah,
was like, I left there, and I remember crying in my truck outside, and I was like, man, what the fuck? What do I do now?
yeah,
Like I put everything in this, and now I'm just I mean, I got a college degree, but like, what do I do now?
yeah,
Like I had no plan, no like backup, no thoughts on what I should do.
yeah,
And I remember just like, man, what do I do? And I went and worked at an electric company for a little bit, just because it was like I can pretty much make the same amount of money that I was making at the other place, and at least I can still pay the bills. And while I try to figure this thing out, and then shortly after that, worked there for a few months, and then that's when I decided to get my real estate license, and then that piggybacked into where I'm at now. But that was just like I remember cutting my losses there, just being like, dude, what the fuck? What do I do now? But like
yeah.
ultimately, that ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made.
Yeah.
And you just never know where shit's gonna lead you.
Right. Well, and I mean, for me, more so recently was more relational.
Yeah.
Melissa and I deciding to end the marriage. That wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't an easy decision, but
No.
we knew that that's what needed to be done for us to carry on with and have a better relationship, and for ourselves, for our kids. And so that, obviously that was tough. And then just some other relationships that I've been in since, it's just it's not easy to cut those ties, but you get to a point where you realize like, hey, this isn't working, and you got to make that switch. But yeah, business wise, I guess, making that decision to give up baseball. But at that point I was just so over baseball, but then jumping into this and doing this. But like ultimately I wanted to be a financial advisor. And there were times early in my career where I had friends that were financial advisors, and like, dude, just come on over and do this. And at the time I was like, nah, man, I've already got this thing going. I'm building it up. But yeah, no, relational, cutting the marriage, ending the marriage, for better for us as co-parents, better for us individually in terms of finding future, partners, just for the kids to see what healthy relationships look like, and for us to have a healthy relationship moving forward. And having to cut ties with people I've dated recently, just realizing what's best for us that at that time just wasn't what's best. And then the decision to, baseball, retire from baseball. But at that point, I was so burnt out that I just was over it and ready to be done and retire and move on to something else. But it was like, hey, what, coming into this, and, my background's in finance, and I wanted to be a financial advisor, and I've got a lot of friends that are in it, and they constantly, but especially early on, they're like, let's do this. Like, hey, come on over and we'll get you started. I'm like, I've already got this business spelled up. It's heading in the right direction. It's heading where I want it to head. And it's just, yeah, I mean, making that decision to not make the switch, and cutting that and basically ending that dream. But, it's just, yeah, there's, business wise, I mean, luckily I've worked for a great company, and we merged with another great company, and I've got an amazing team and support staff there that it's, I don't have to ever worry about that, and turning down opportunities that I've been given from other companies, and it just doesn't make sense. So,
yeah.
But
last one,
number 10, respond the same whether you win or lose, like a gentleman who is familiar with both victory and defeat.
Funny that this one came up. So we had the CrossFit Achieve Awards banquet the other night, and Amanda, she got up and kind of did like a little speech, and she's like, I played a lot of sports as a kid, and my parents always said, whether you win or lose, you have the same look on your face. So that's why I look pissed off all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
It's just, that was so funny. I was like, that's a great line for her.
Right.
But no, it's that's so true.
Absolutely.
You gotta lose with grace. You gotta win with grace.
Yeah.
Like don't be a sore loser. Don't be a sore winner.
Right.
Whether you win or you lose.
That's right now. I don't know if you've dealt with it, but I'm going through it with Connor. He'll make up random rules just so he wins. He does not like losing, and when he wins, he gloats. Yeah, we got into it, and so we were playing this horse racing game down in Florida, and he won a lot. Like, yeah, he won a lot of the times, and he would just be like, "Boo, yeah, I won, yeah," and just like, and then he'd lose, he'd get all pissed off, and I'm like, dude, you gotta relax here. Like, do you see anybody else when they win, like rubbing it in other people's faces? Well, no. When they lose, do you see them getting pissed off and all that? Like, I was playing Uno with him last night or yesterday before I dropped him off at Melissa's, and it was me and Ali, and obviously they're not learning the game yet, and we're playing it with the cards flipped up so we can see what everybody has.
Right.
And I told him, I said, you just got to remember, when you get to one card, you got to time it. Like, as you're going down to have one card left, you got to say Uno, like, as you release it, so no one else says it, and you got to pick up two cards. And he would always forget, and he gets so mad. And then, I'd get down to one, and I go, Uno, and he's like, this isn't fair. I'm going to lose. I'm like, maybe. Hell, but I've got one card left. I might have to draw cards. You just never know. That's a great thing about Uno. And so, sure as shit, I ended up winning and drew the cards. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. We got to work on that. That'll probably be my toughest thing with him.
Yeah.
Ollie's just like, hey, I won. Cool. He doesn't give a shit. Oh, I lost. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Calvin likes to play hide and seek, and that's been our new game. And he just, he's getting better at hiding, but he would normally like hide and then just like the second you don't find him right away, he's like making noise and like, popping his head out. And he's finally trying to figuring out that he needs to like stay hidden. Or, he'll like literally just go in the room, sit on the couch with a blanket over his head, like, it'll be like that.
I can't see you, so you can't see me.
Exactly. But so we're hide and seek's our new game, but
that's awesome.
We haven't really, we've played some games, but not, for him to kind of figure out the rules of stuff is still kind of early. But hopefully within the next year, I think he'll start kind of figuring that out.
Yeah.
But no, that's something I haven't thought about. I guess I had experienced that a little bit with some of Gina's cousins. We always play like gambling games over at her aunt's house like for every holiday. And now that I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, Tina's cousin does that. Like,
Mhm.
gets really upset when he's about actually, yeah, he's a few years older than your boys, but he'd get really upset when when he loses and gets rubs it and everybody gloats when he wins, and it's just like something you kind of forget about that.
Mhm.
That's just like one of those things as kids that you just do and you don't really think about it.
Right.
That's just yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Win with grace.
Right.
Don't be a sore loser.
Right.
Yeah, good rules to live by.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go check out that post by Ryan Mickler and Order of Man.
Order of Man.
Good stuff.
Good.
He's
That's a good follow.
10 things to teach my daughter as well.
Yep.
But we don't have daughters, so we're
Nope.
not going to go through that.
No.
But yeah, guys. So we're in the new studio. If you got anything out of the show, we really appreciate it if you could, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. But if you really want to go the extra mile for us, tell someone that you think would like the show and get something out of it, and
Share it.
share it. If you see a clip online and you like it or something, if you want to throw it on your story or something, that means the world to us. We really appreciate stuff like that. We're just trying to grow this thing, get the word out about the show, and just because we want to keep doing this, we really really enjoy it, and being in this new space, we're going to be putting on a lot more guest episodes, like we said at the beginning of the show. So we're looking forward to that, and yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. And just click that like button, comment what you guys thought below, hit that subscribe button if you're not already, and we will see you next time.